Okay, welcome to part 4 of the challenges and solutions video series. Um, Keep in mind that we're identifying big challenges and we are creating even bigger solutions. Well, we've been talking about the beverage industry, and one of the key challenges or huge challenges for the beverage industry is distribution, right? How are we going to get our product to the marketplace? And the traditional solution to this now is retail stores. Now, of course, this does include restaurants. I mean, that is in one way a retail store, so you can kind of lump that in here. So, what are the challenges? What's wrong with retail stores? Well, the business typically is driven by in retail stores, and more specifically in grocery stores and drug stores and things like that, advertising, right? Big major beverage brands spend a lot of time and money advertising. Their juices and their sodas and different things like that on television. Product placement is another thing that they drives the distribution or the marketing. Maybe the challenge is marketing and distribution. It's kind of both. And product placement, I'm not talking about necessarily on like movies and television shows. I'm talking about on a store shelf. Most people, I don't know if they realize that if you want to be at eye level, you want your product at eye level where more people are going to buy it, then you pay a lot of money to be at eye level. You might pay millions of dollars to a large grocery store chain. And the problem is that just because something has good advertising, good product placement, doesn't mean that I, the consumer, am necessarily getting a great value. It just means that this company is good at marketing. Packaging is another thing. If it's pleasing to the eye and looks cool, when it comes to the packaging, looks like a good. If it looks like a good value, we tend to think it is. I was working with a company, a startup company, and they were doing different kinds of marketing. But one of the things that they were doing is they had their product in store shelves, and there was a competitor's product on the market that was packaged and had been on store shelves for a while, and we were outselling them tremendously. And the packaging expert basically told us why, because their strategy was to make our box heavier, and they did that by putting a little thicker explanation, like instruction manual, and they made the box bigger and brighter colored. And so because it was a bigger box and it felt heavier, when people picked up both of them, they felt like they were getting a better value out of the one product. And in this particular case, it was a better value, but just because it's heavier did not make it a better value. I guess that's the point. So packaging, expensive. And then there's hundreds of people partaking in the revenue. Think about all the people that it takes to get a product from a manufacturer to a store shelf into my hands. There's cashiers, there's stockers, there's people working in warehouses, there's people that are working in the back of the stores, there's the manager of the store, there's all the executives of not just the manufacturing company, but the company, the middlemen that go between the manufacturer and the retail outlets, and then all the executives at the retail outlets. I worked for Walgreens. I love Walgreens, but I worked for them at a very young age. And there's a lot of big executives, many vice presidents and regional supervisors and all these people. And all those people get a little piece of the pie, and have to be able to earn their salaries based on the sales of all these products. And so once again, it's something that drives up prices, and I have no problem with people making money and necessarily prices being high if they're good values. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm getting a better value just because something has a higher price on it. So there are a lot of challenges with distribution. So go ahead and click to continue for one of the best solutions, in my opinion, for this distribution challenge.